Hi everyone, it's me, Sailor Mercury, Sailor Quicksilver, Amy here, and today we're going to talk about Cloverway and how some folks get it misunderstood. Well, Cloverway was the giver, the one who was the middle man or woman between Toei and Pioneer Entertainment or Pathseeker Glee. The next business that won the rights to work with Sailor Moon. They won those rights in 1999 and held on the rights until 2003, which was kind of long for that. And it included not only that, but the 3 films as well. They did Sailor Moon S and Sailor Moon SS. Now, how Pioneer's take or Pathseeker's take on Sailor Moon differed in how it was unlike in some ways. Well, they did keep the names, That was the thing. But they did away with the Sailor Says, which by that time they didn't have to follow it anymore. Because by that time they had gotten a deal with Cartoon, so they didn't have to do it. And at the end of every show, they would have, the Dawnish song, the one that would be playing for at the end of the Toei take on Sailor Moon. They seek to be as near as to Toei as they could get, but still keeping it Englished. And that includes how they had to go by handling the unstraight folks that came along. Amara Michelle, or Sarah Yorna, Sailor Neptune, Sailor Skyworld, Sailor SeaWorld, onlookingly. They had to come up with the kinship to why they were always around. And they came up with near kin. And then a lot of folks scathed that and said, well, why are you calling them near kin when it doesn't match up to what they're doing? And I believe it was on the same grounds to why Deke had to make Zoisite a woman. It was the fears of bearers, teachers, worship leaders, and these in the folk work themselves, not knowing how to handle it, and by doing so would shield themselves from any scathing or losing their broadcast deal, which at the time in the 4-1 Reich's Cartoon Network or Drawing Show Folkwork was the only one that had that deal at that time, at least in the 4-1 Reichs. Outside of that, it was handled by YTV in the settled land. And even they, had the same standards as well. And also includes why Fisheye, and a lot of folks like to say that Fisheye was a man who liked to wear women's clothing. If that's true in all the other tellings of Sailor Moon, then I guess so. But in Pioneer's world or Pathseeker's world, Fisheye was a woman. And the same grounds for the Zoisite thing once again. And then some folks will ask, well, how did Pioneer or Pathseeker even get the rights to work with Sailor Moon? Because the deal that Toei had with Disney and Deke ended, and Disney chose to buy the Deke Sailor Moon, which is now owned by Wildbrain or Wildbrain or whatever you say the name of the business now. And by doing so, it opened up the door for the Friedith and 4 followings to be Englished. But that is another tale for another day. So that's all the time I got. Hope you like this film. Give it a like, share it, playlist it. And yes, I'll see you later.